Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this week's episode of Do You Cook English? Now listen to this. I worked here yesterday, but then again I was working here all last week. Can you hear the difference? But more importantly, do you know when to use these two forms of the past tense? Not sure? Well, let's have a look at today's grammar rule and see if it all becomes a little clearer. So let's have a listen to the differences between yesterday I baked a cake and yesterday I was baking a cake. In both cases, it's a finished and dated action in the past. Now let's have a listen and try and feel the difference. Yesterday I took my car. I drove to Chateau de la Masure. I parked in front of the house, went into the kitchen and I started cooking. As you can see, I'm talking about actions that are past, finished and dated. It happened yesterday. It's not too difficult. To obtain the past, some verbs are regular. You just add ed at the end. To listen becomes I listened. To live, I lived. However, some others are irregular and they will just have to be learnt, unfortunately for you. Examples are to write becomes I wrote. To buy, I bought. But now look, yesterday he was cutting the vegetables and I was sitting next to him watching what he was doing. Can you feel the difference? These are actions going on in the past. So let's see how to form it. You take the verb to be in the past, as in was or were, and you add ing to the verb. For instance, to work, working, eat, eating, cook, cooking. Is this any clearer now? I hope so. Actually, the real problem is learning the irregular verbs. Another quick point. When necessary, you can mix them easily in English. For example, when I was talking with him, the telephone rang. But please remember, if you make a mistake in English, it's not the end of the world. We will still understand you. Well, here we are back with another recipe. So, what are we going to show you today? And who better to explain the recipe? None other than our dear friend Eric. So, bonjour Eric.
Bonjour Anna. Well, actually, I was thinking about which recipe to create for you all today. And I remember that a few months ago, I made a fantastic broccoli stilton and walnut gratin. So I thought I'd show you all how to prepare this today.
Great. Well, I was hoping that we'd have something new and interesting to prepare today. And here we go. Let's just take a look and see what Eric prepared for us earlier. Here is how Eric prepared the dish earlier this morning. First, he cut up the broccoli into small florets and washed them thoroughly. Then he cooked the florets in salted boiling water, making sure to keep the broccoli crunchy.
Next, I rinsed the broccoli in cold water to stop the cooking process and to keep the broccoli green.
Then Eric melted the butter and added the flour to make a roux. He then cooked this for a few minutes on a low heat, making sure it didn't burn.
Next, I added the milk and brought it slowly to the boil, stirring continuously so that it didn't burn the bottom of the pan. Then I seasoned with pepper and nutmeg. However, I added no salt as the Stilton cheese would make it far too salty.
Then Eric stirred in half of the Stilton into the pan, letting it melt, creating the cheese sauce. Next, Eric added the broccoli to a baking dish or gratin dish and then poured on the cheese sauce. Eric then crumbled the walnut pieces in remaining Stilton over the top.
Finally, I placed this in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes at 180 degrees, or until it was a slight golden color.
And how lovely does this look? I've always wished we could transfer the amazing cooking smells from this kitchen to you, but we can't, unfortunately, so you'll just have to trust me. This dish smelled absolutely delicious when it came out of the oven earlier, so...
And the last time I made it, it tasted pretty good too.
I'm sure it did, so I'm optimistic it's going to be delicious this time as well. But before we go, please don't forget you can upload any of your attempts at this dish or any of our other recipes onto our Facebook page. We would love to see your results. So we've come to the end of this week's episode of Do You Cook English? So from everyone here, goodbye.